Well, howdy campers! It's me, Rhys. I'm back for my second tutorial, and I've got to tell you, it's quite the spontaneous one. I've just been called in last minute to replace my good friend Courtney Act, as she is ill, to do my mannequin show at Disgraceland tonight. So I thought I would do a very quick tutorial for you guys. This is my mannequin look, which you can see at Club Nevermind on Saturday nights here in Sydney on Oxford Street. So I'm going to show you what I do. It's a very artificial kind of look, very plasticized kind of skin, and a very dramatic hairline. So let's get started. Okay, so please excuse the lighting. This is a very makeshift operation. This tutorial, it's also going to incorporate some contouring techniques, like at the base of the foundation, at the base of the makeup. So if you're wanting to learn how to highlight and to contour, then this tutorial is also for you. So I'm starting off with my foundation, which is the MAC Full Coverage Foundation, and I'm using a very flat kabuki style kind of brush. This one's actually from Mannequin. I'll post all of the links in the boxes for the remainder of the tutorial as to what brush I'm using. And I'm just giving a very general application of the full coverage foundation. I want a really fake kind of plastic skin type look, so a full coverage foundation is perfect for that. This one's a cream based foundation, so it's going to not leave my face when I start sweating, which I do a lot in this show. If you've seen my costume, you'll know why, or lack of costume. So I find that full coverage is a great foundation for performers in the industry who want a foundation that's not going to bleed off the face or sweat off. And it's great for under the hot lights. Okay, my base is done, so now I'm going to highlight certain areas of my face using a different tone of foundation. This one is kind of like the makeup store's version of full coverage foundation. It's called their Studio Foundation, and I'm basically going to use that like it's a concealer. I'm using a smaller brush just so I can get into the smaller areas of my face, top of the eye, and I'm just going to start around that eye area but blend it down onto the cheekbone. So this is going to really block out any darkness and create a little bit of a highlight on the higher planes of the face. I'm going to work that into the brow bone as well, as that's a predominant feature, and just above it as well. Now I'm using a slightly lighter shade than my actual skin tone, and it is lighter than the foundation that I've used as well. This is going to help these areas pop or attract the light. You know, we want these areas of the face to be highlighted in a sense. Ow! It really hurts when you put a brush in your eye. I'm gonna have a red eye now. I'm okay. I'm also gonna run it down the bridge of the nose, keeping it quite sharp, okay? I'm also gonna take it in between the brow bone and blend it out from that area. The trick to blending out your foundation is always bringing your brush back to the starting point and work the product out from there. I'm also going to pop a bit on the Cupid's bow of my lip, and I'm also going to pop just a little on the inside of my jaw. Now remember, this is a very extreme highlighting effect that I'm using with these products, so you can still use these techniques, but perhaps in a more subtle manner, if you ain't in the biz, that is. A little bit on the chin. Looking kind of fake now. Let's see what it's like without that lighting. Okay, yeah. You can see a little bit more of the highlighted parts of my face with this kind of light, as opposed to this. Time to blush. I'm using a powder blush from MAC with a small C100 tapered blush brush from Crown Brushes. It's a very small, fluffy blush brush, and I'm going to quite deliberately use this shade underneath the cheekbone. I want the brush to be small because I want it to be precise. I'm just going to round underneath the apple a little. Really create hardcore shadow. Now, I'm putting this straight onto my foundation. Why, do you ask? Because powder sticks to grease or to oil or to cream. Dry sticks to wet. So I'm really ingraining the color into my skin. And I find that this lasts a little bit longer if you tend to sweat as much as I do when you're on stage. I'm going to take that just under the jaw, alongside the edge of the nose, into the brow, and into the temple as well. Basically all the recesses of the face. I'm even going to squeeze my brush a little bit and run it in between the cupid's bow. Girl, she's looking harsh. But don't worry, all comes out in the wash. I'm going to add further highlight to the higher planes of my face by using an illuminating powder. This one is a beauty powder from MAC. Excuse my messy brushes. And that, I'm kind of using it like a setting powder, because what I'm doing now is actually setting the foundation, because it stays wet until you seal it in with powder. This one's going to keep on reflecting the light though. It's kind of like a pearly flesh tone, and I'm blending it down into the contouring that we did earlier as well, just to give a really amazing blend. And also go on the brow bone, just a little on the bridge of the nose, and again on the center of the mouth. This should aid in me looking really artificial. Now I'm not going to use a regular powder to set the rest of my foundation because I want to maintain that plasticky kind of effect. So I'm going to use a mineral powder which naturally reflects a little bit of the light. This one is from MAC. It's part of their Mineralize range, and I'm just going to use a large powder brush to seal the rest of my foundation. Make sure you blend a little into the contouring that you did earlier. This is going to help tie the look together. Okay, now that my eyes are receding into the back of my head, let's work on them. Now what I've done is use a little bit of gel cream liner and a bullet brush to start to frame the eyes. You just keep the point of the brush right in close to the lash line and run it back and forth. The brush will do all the work. I'm going to use the same gel eyeliner with a small, soft, fluffy blending brush, which I'm using actually for the first time, so I'll tell you if it's crap or not. And I'm just going to pull that into my natural socket. Again, your brushes will pick up a lot of product, so move it around quickly because gel liners are designed to dry. Using a similar motion as before, just run your brush back and forth in the same line of motion until the product blends out. As the product blends, move your brush higher and further outward from the eyeball. This will allow for a natural blend. It joins in the corner where my lower liner went before, and I'm just going to blend the two together and pull it out from the eye just a little bit. This is actually a synthetic brush, I believe, and it's actually pretty perfect for gel liners. I love using gel liners as bases to my eyeshadow because they're water resistant, sweat proof, they don't crease, and I get really greasy eyelids. So I'm keeping the lids completely clean. They've just got a little bit of concealer on them. Now to tone all of that back, I'm using the same mineral powder as before, just pushing it over the entire lid. I'm going to use my same blending brush just to soften the black, the same mineral powder. Time for some mascara. This one is the Model Co Extension Mascara. Fuck! As you can see, what I've just done is printed mascara all over my eyelid, completely ruining my makeup. Wrong. If that ever happens to you, just let it go, okay? Let it dry. Don't try to rub it off straight away. I'll show you why in a moment. This mascara is not too bad, although it does get a bit sticky when it's drying, and sometimes my top lashes stick to my bottom lashes as it's drying. But if you just separate them a couple of times while it's drying, then they'll be fine. The things we do for beauty. As for my mascara mishap earlier, grab yourself a little Q-tip, and sometimes you can just flake it off. Mascara becomes a bit brittle as it dries, so if you just jab at it a little bit, it'll usually dissipate. Audience isn't going to see it anyway. I'm going to pop a little bit of pale yellow eyeliner pencil just on that waterline of my eyes. Old Marilyn Monroe trick, they say. It's supposed to make your eyes look larger. Time for a fuck off brow. Again, I'm using the gel cream eyeliner, and a synthetic angle brush. And I'm going to get right into the roots of the brow and start working it out. I'm going to keep the edges pretty sharp, but still only use a little bit of liner at a time. A lot of people struggle with brows, but brows are very fixable. If you make a mistake, you can usually correct it. The hardest thing about brows is getting even on both sides. In that case, I recommend that you start with your bad side first and then try to mimic on the other side, which you're a little bit more comfortable with. Just encouraging the look of my arch and taking it out quite wide. When I was doing drag, I used to use stencils for my eyebrows, and you know what? No word of a lie, works perfectly every time. Put it on once, flip it over, absolutely symmetrical, can't go wrong. One day, lost my stencil, freaked out. Had to learn how to do it on my own. Probably the best thing I ever did. But if you're just starting out, try a stencil. Alright, let's try and get it the same on the other side. Alright, see? Went a little bit wonky there, but I can just join up and bring it back down. And I'm always raising this eyebrow anyway. Ready for the finale? This is 1000 Hour Touch-Up Stick. It's a product by 1000 Hour, which sell a range of eyelash and eyebrow tinting dyes. This product is designed to cover up your greys as you get regrowth after dyeing your hair, and this one comes in like a blue-black shade, and I've used it quite a bit, so it's quite worn down. And this is going to create my artificial hairline. I'll pull back my hair and start at the center and just sweep it across. Do the same on the other side. Don't worry if it's not perfect, you can fix it later. Create a peak and then just follow my natural hairline and fade it out as we get towards the lamb chops. Now this product is designed for your hair, so I immediately thought that I had to have it when I saw it. But you could just as easily use a black grease stick or even paint it on. I just know that this one won't sweat off because it's oil-based. Once you've done the outline, start filling in towards the crown of your head, and you can take it back as far as you like. Once I've got the majority of the product, I'm just going to blend it out a little bit more with a MAC 227 brush. And it's just going to soften the edges, make it kind of fade into nothing. Now I'm going to take what's left on the brush and keep blending down into the jawline and just run it through my beard, just so everything looks consistent and the same color, but also give it more of that artificial quality. Don't forget the mo. Now because my hair's not really black at the moment, I'm just going to use a little bit of coloured hairspray and hold it from afar and just tint the rest of my hair. A little lip balm. And there you have it. Mannequin, making fake look real. If you wanted to go crazy, draw a line around the neck to make it look like it's been attached to the rest of your torso. I hope you like it. Look for the link in the description if you'd like to check out the show. And stay tuned for my next tutorial. Thanks for watching. See ya.